I used to cop a lot, but never cop no drop. Hold mics like ponytails tight and bobble ops.
You are now listening to the Orange and Blue Crew. Here are your hosts, King JJ and AnytimeKnicks.
We're back. Hope you missed us. Welcome to season 2 of the Orange and Blue Crew. You know us by now, JJ, AnytimeKnicks. It is so good to be back. How we doing this great Sunday morning? Usual film days.
Feeling good, man. It's your boy Jay from East New York. AnytimeKnicks is the Twitter handle. Y'all already know, man. It's good to be back with my brother JJ. I hope everybody that's watching and tuning in, I hope we give y'all a good show. Shout out to my brother Brutus. He over there running a X Space or whatever, you feel me? So if he finishing up, man, I hope everybody pull up on us. Let's talk Knicks, man. How y'all feeling this morning? How you feeling, JJ?
I'm doing excellent, man. It is great to be back. And I tell you what, I came into this Knicks season with a ton of expectations. I don't want to say none of them have been met, but it feels like we're just missing something just a little bit. But before we get into all that talk, because that talk could go on forever, let's start this show off with something positive. Recently, the Knicks went on a nice little 4-game win streak, getting wins over the Nets twice, Washington, and Phoenix. What were you thinking watching the Knicks these 4 games?
I mean, honestly, bro, it was a good sight to see. You feel me? We went on a nice little run. We did what we supposed to do, winning those games. I definitely feel like we wasn't supposed to lose against lowly teams like the Wizards and the Nets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just helps build continuity. You feel me? The chemistry is getting better. Jalen, he's becoming better in his role as the star player of helping other guys get buckets and all of that. He's been intentionally, getting his assist game up and all of that. So we working, man. We building. A lot more work to do. We're not there yet. You know what I'm saying? Especially after this loss to Utah. We got a lot of work, man. We got a lot of work. But I think that eventually we're going to turn a corner. We're not going to be this all year. You know what I'm saying? We haven't even hit 20 games yet. It's still early, guys. Even though I'm upset about some things, and I really hope that we fix those things, and we'll get into it as the show goes along. But right now, it's just we still in wait-and-see mode. You feel me? You got to take everything with a grain of salt. Don't be too high. Don't be too low. Try to keep your emotions in check, especially on the timeline, man, because I'm hearing people call for trade Mikal and all of that. It's like, all right, pump your brakes, man. Pump your brakes.
We still got 60-some games. We still got 60-some games to go. So I'm going to be blunt with you. I only watched maybe the first half of this Jazz game because I was so busy with all this college football stuff going on. As you can see, I got this whole Notre Dame fit on. We gave Army the belt last night. I feel guilty as hell saying that. But it seems like from the box score, the Jazz gave us the belt last night. I'm sure you watched this game in its entirety, so I'm going to let you tell me about this one because I did not really get to watch it.
Well, to be honest with you, we struggled from the tip, man. We struggled from the start of the game. We fought back. And then we let them build up another lead. And then we fought back again. And we just didn't have enough in the tank. I don't know if it was the altitude. I don't know if the 3 days off because we played terrible when we have that much time off. I can't really call it, but it just was a bad loss. You know what I'm saying? And we moved. I'm not going to go crazy about it or whatever. But this West Coast trip, the Knicks West Coast trips, usually tend to give you a good inclination of what the team is going to be. So I need the Knicks to go out and play really well against the Denver Nuggets and the Dallas Mavericks. We'll get into that later on. But back to the game. Yeah, man, it's just we fought hard and we just couldn't get the win, man. We couldn't get the win. It just every time we got it close, somebody would hit a big shot, another big play. Lauri Markkanen was absolutely on fire. John Collins kind of started it off, but Lauri Markkanen was a stable throughout the night. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Keontae George, they Walker Kessler, he was amazing his first game back. It just was a bad L, man. Like Utah came ready, man. The
They
Knicks
did.
are 2-8 in that building. So
It's hard
I
to
didn't
win
know
there.
that stat until like the fourth quarter, but I just was like, man, we just got our asses handed to us.
That's a
There's
gut
no
punch.
other explanation, man.
That is a gut punch. Simple as that. And Willie ranks us on Twitter says bad loss periods, but they shoot the lights out. It seems that is what happens a lot when teams beat the Knicks. Is they're just shooting the lights out and they just keep hitting
Historic.
bucket after bucket after three. Like I hate bringing this up, but that game against the Pacers back in Game 7, it was just bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket, and it's something you'll never see again, which is crazy. But
Yeah, man, it's the truth, man. Yo, shout out to my guy Willie Ranks, man. He's a big supporter of Anytime Knicks brand. I appreciate you, brother, for joining us. But yeah, he's right, man. Utah had a historic shooting night against the Knicks, man. I'm kind of tired to say it at this season, man. I feel like this is like the second or third time this happened this season alone. So that just lets us know that, defensively we got a lot of work to do, and we definitely got to get into that, man. Whenever we get past, just talking about last night's game, because our defensive woes is something that I would never expect with this being a Tom Thibodeau-led team, That's something that we definitely need to work on, and we need to get that shit right, man. Because I understand we don't have all our personnel, and I'm somebody that preaches this. You feel me? It's all about personnel when you want to have a great defensive unit. And right now, the personnel we do have, they're not great at defending from what it looks like as far as Mikal and Cat, the two new Knicks. Cat is a paint protector. He leaves a lot to be desired, but that's never been his game. Mikal, I'm absolutely shocked in him. He's an all-defensive team player. I see him fucking getting beat so many times and chasing guys off screens, or he can't get over the screen. Like, Mikal hasn't been great defensively this season, and we have to acknowledge that because we need him to pick it up. But shout out to the State, man. I got to give him credit for this. A lot of this goes to the coaching. Tom Thibodeau has to find a way to get Mikal going. This guy is a fringe all-star. He's somebody that he can play a role pretty well. And I think that we just have to figure out how to get him going. I'm going to give it a little bit on JB too. You feel me? Because he's the point guard. And although he is a score-first point guard, you should still look to make guys better. You know what I'm saying? And out of anyone in the starting lineup, Josh Hart. Not Josh Hart. Josh Hart has been amazing. Mikal Bridges is somebody that I personally feel like Jalen needs to lock in with, you feel me, and try to figure this shit out. How can we get you some better looks? How can we get you some real easy buckets? Should we run the offense through him a little early? You know what I'm saying? Let him and Cat run the pick and pop. I don't know what it's going to take, but something has to happen between the coaching, Jalen and Mikal. They got to figure that shit out, man. And that's my take on the Utah Jazz game. A lot of people expected this to be Mikal's game, and he just didn't deliver.
Yeah, so I just posted, it's loading up in the chat, the StreamYard link to those that are watching on YouTube. The open panel is live. We do it every episode because we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. So, and the other, Willie Ranks also said length also bothered us. They were playing over the top. OG is overachieving as a Knick right now. What is your take on OG this season? Because from what I've seen, he has looked sharp, but there is room for improvement.
If I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like OG is playing above what we've seen from him in years past. OG has always been a defensive guy. That's always been his thing. He's always hung his hat on his defense. But the offense he's providing the Knicks, I mean, some nights he's legit been our first, second option some nights, especially early on when we were struggling. He played really well. You know what I'm saying? As of right now, I really like what I'm seeing from OG. If OG can stay healthy and play in the upwards of 65, 70-plus games and give us this performance, man, all-star.
I agree.
I mean, like that, I don't know if he'll get the actual nod, but on paper, OG has been phenomenal for us, man. So shout out to Willie for bringing up OG. We got to give him his flowers. He's been the one constant throughout this up and down season for the Knicks.
So we're talking about, obviously the name of the show is The Ups and the Downs is the name of this episode. We all know OG is an up, but there is another forward that the Knicks have. Some may say he's a guard. He has been, a lot of people say disappointing, to say the least. Mikal Bridges. What is going on with this guy? I mean, watching him play is just, I mean, he's a good shooter at times, but it just seems like the dude is either over his head or he's just off his game. And I think it is because of the fact that he's in a situation where, like, look, we don't need you to be the guy anymore. We have stars that you can play with that will make you better, that you can improve off of, but we don't need you as the franchise player, even though we give up 5 first-round picks for him. You may as well call them second rounders, though, because they're late first rounders. So that's where the Knicks were smart in that area of the trade. But it's been a bit underwhelming watching Bridges.
You know what? If I'm being honest with you, I feel like with the two new Knicks, Cat and Mikal specifically, you feel me? I'm going to give them the same energy. With Cat, his offense has been something to hang his hat on. And defensively, he hasn't been great, but he hasn't been so fucking bad in my eyes because he rebounds, you know what I'm saying? Offensive rebound. Like, he does certain things that as a big man center, you know, you kind of got to, you know, give him a little bit of credit. Mikal hasn't been great offensively, and he's been terrible defensively. So he has to give us one or the other, you feel me? Until everybody meshes and roles become more defined. Also, I think he's just in his head too much, man. The whole thing with the changing the shot before the season and it. Listen, man, get out of your head, bro. Do what feels right. You know what I'm saying? Get in the gym, lock in, and just work hard, brother, and it'll pay off. You know what I'm saying? Don't think. Just feel the game. Don't think the game. Feel it. Let it come to you, brother. There were certain times against Utah where I like the aggressiveness offensively, but when you miss that shot, it's like, okay, that's a bad shot now. You have to make risky shots in order for people to be like, you know what? All right, I can accept that. There were a couple times where Mikal just pulled up and took a shot, and it's like, you know that shit not going in, Mikal. What are you doing, bro? You know what I'm saying? So it's like he has to be able to give us something, one or the other. Either you got to give us some real good defense, or you have to be able to help us win games offensively by putting points on the board, points that matter. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he's been up and down in that regard. So until, you know what, I'm going to shoot him a little bit of slack because this is one thing. I don't know if it was Tony or State that said it, but like shooting guards come to the Tom Thibodeau system and they struggle, you know, and it takes them a while to kind of figure it out, and then they excel in the role once they figure it out. So we saw it with Dante. We saw it with Quentin Grimes. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that this is just a phase, and then Mikal, he just takes off. You know what I'm saying? I pray that that's what's going to happen. I hope we get a crazy December, January run from Mikal and the Knicks specifically. That's really what I'm hoping for. But right now, it just looks bad, man. It looks bad.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are starting to notice that, and it could be a little bit frustrating. But Willie Rank said once again, thank you, Mikal, getting too much blame, in my opinion. I'm not sitting here and blaming Mikal. I think it's just a slow start. I think he's thinking, okay, I don't have to do too much anymore because of how loaded this Knicks roster is and how much star power we have. The one thing that truly concerns me, though, is depth. You could say that we have injuries and that apparently Deuce McBride just got injured, from what I've heard. I also heard that Landry Shamit's injured, and it's been the Knicks are just, I feel like, maybe 1 6th or 7th man away from having like a legitimate bench, because when fully healthy, you're looking at Campaign, Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, Precious Achiuwa, and maybe even Landry Shamit as a 3, basically as an 8. So if you're looking at this, I'm not overly concerned, but the Knicks just need their big men to get healthy quick, because
I mean, I somewhat agree with that sentiment, JJ. Honestly, I don't think our bench is the problem. Like you said, once we get healthy, we're gonna have a strong bench. We're gonna have interchangeable pieces. Like, honestly, I think that we're just going through a lot of growing pains, and it's not that we're shitting on Mikal. let me make this clear. When I'm just rating what I see. You know what I'm saying? And right now, he's been up and down. That's fair to say. I'm not calling for Mikal to be traded like I've heard some Knicks fans say. I'm not saying that the season is shot. I've heard some Knicks fans saying that, So we want him to get better. You know what I'm saying? It's not all on Mikal. I'm a Knicks fan. So it doesn't matter if Karl Anthony Towns has a great game and Mikal has a terrible one and a fucking loss. The Knicks lost. I want the Knicks to start racking up wins. I literally said it after the Indiana game. I expect the Knicks to go on a crazy run. You know what I'm saying? And we lost that Indiana game, but then we won 4 straight. So I was looking for us to continue on with that continuity. Obviously, you don't always get what you want in life. But I do feel like the Knicks are trending upward, if I'm being honest with you. But if we're talking about individual performances, you got to be real, man. The odds don't lie. If you watch Mikal these last few games, it just hasn't been consistent on either end, man. And he has to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks organization has to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's time for Leon to make the call down to Tibbs and all of that as of yet. But listen, after 30 games, that's when shit gets real for me. So I'll be taking a much harsher stance after our 30th game. So I'll just say that.
Makes sense. Now, a lot of people sitting here blaming Bridges. A lot of people are like the Knicks Twitter fan base. There's 2 sides of the Knicks Twitter fan base. There's our side, which are the reasonable people, the optimists, the ones that always think orange and blue skies, things are going to get better. And then there is what I like to call, it's in our intro song, the doomsday side, the ones that are always calling for Tibbs' head, the ones that are saying trade one guy. They're probably the same people that gave up on Brunson when he was going through his cold struggles. And look at him now. Guy's putting up 35 a game, and he's getting a lot of assists. It's going pretty well for the Knicks. But unfortunately, the one thing that really ticks me off about the Knicks, we can never stay out of drama. 4 years ago, or may have been 5 years ago, there was rumors about this kid from Duke who was a lock to get drafted by the Knicks. Everybody was waiting for it. They said windmill dunks at the Garden was going to happen. And then the lottery happened, and the Pelicans grabbed the number 1 overall pick. And one of the dumbest system in all of basketball.
Oh, man, this is gonna be
Next thing you know, he gets injured that season, and a lot of rumors are saying, is he trying to come to the Knicks? Is he faking injuries just to come to the Knicks? Fast forward 5 years later, it's the same story, just a different year. We're back to the Zion Williamson talks again.
Oh, God, man.
Here we go again for
Listen,
the
let me sit up for this one. Listen, hey, Zion, it's your boy Jay from East New York talking to you. Stay your ass in motherfucking New Orleans. We don't want you in New York, bro. We don't want you. You understand? We good over here. We don't need you. You fired CAA. That's the only people that could have got you to New York, you dumbass. You're never healthy. You eat too much gumbo. I don't want Zion Williamson nowhere near the New York Knicks. I don't give a fuck where he go. I do not want to see that man in the Knicks jersey. I would rather watch Mikal struggle all 82, the Knicks not make the playoffs, and fucking somebody ruptures some. I would rather all of that shit before I see Zion Williamson don a Knicks jersey. I don't never want to see that man in the Knicks jersey. We good over here, man. I don't want that type of shit, man. He's always in the media for the wrong things, man. You're never healthy. Like, nah, man. No. Hell no. Hell no. Stay in New Orleans, eat all the gumbo you like. We good over here, son. I'm good on Mikal. I don't want no parts of Zion Williamson on the Knicks, man. No. Thank you.
That may have been the first Anytime Knicks rant in the history of this show, and I have a feeling it ain't the last, especially if that boy State comes up here and he starts spewing his BS. All love to him, of course. But, oh my God. I've been hearing these rumors for 5 years now. It's been. Here's the thing, though. My take on this whole Zion Williamson, I don't even know what to call it, honestly. My thing is this. The only way that I'm getting Zion on this team is if it's a straight dump. The Pelicans will literally give up a bag of chips for him. If I'm getting him for like 1 first-round pick and that's it, sure. Why not? Bench depth, get yourself another piece that you need. Do I want it though? Because I know the Pelicans, they're stingy sons of bitches. They will, especially with the Knicks, they will make them drive up the prices to get guys that we would want. Here's the thing, though. I'm only taking Zion if it's literally for a bag of peanut M&Ms. I don't want it for anything more. So unless you're going to get him for pennies on the dollar, I don't want Zion. Period.
JJ, let me inform you of who's running the Pelicans basketball operations. You got a guy named David Griffin. He used to be the GM for the Cleveland Cavaliers. When I tell you, he's going to do everything in his power to get the best package for Zion. The Knicks don't even have a package for Zion. I'm so thankful we don't. So that way Leon won't be tempted to do something. Thank God we gave up 5 picks for Mikal. State probably somewhere fucking ripping his hat off right now because he heard me say that. At the end of the day, I do not want Zion Williamson on the Knicks roster. So thank you, Leon, for not cashing in on this guy. You feel? No, I'm good, man. I am good. I don't want that man nowhere near the Knicks. Keep him away from New York. There's way too many escorts out here, bottle girls, too many little Instagram models and OnlyFans chicks. He don't know how to control himself. We don't need that. I'm good. Stay your ass in New Orleans, brother. I'm glad he fired CAA. I'm glad the Knicks got the 3rd pick and had to draft RJ. Anything that prevents Zion from being in the Knicks jersey, I am fine with that. I'm good. All
right. So here's the thing that I saw yesterday that it makes me laugh a lot. What if Zion is doing all this shit on purpose just to play for the Knicks, and all of a sudden the beard is gone? He's doing this windmills again. He never gets injured again. Like, could you imagine he's just doing that just to get out of New Orleans? That'd be hilarious.
He ain't impressing New Yorkers, man. I like guys that fucking put their hard hat on, put their head down, and go to work. Zion has done everything but that. From the weight issues, from the inconsistency in his game. Like, it's just, nah, man. All
right.
Nah.
Fair enough.
Nope.
Fair enough. I thought that I've been convinced for 5 years he's just trying to get out of New Orleans. But, I mean, we'll see.
So you sacrifice. Hold on, JJ, because listen. This man has a generational opportunity being the number 1 pick. Now, I understand that you don't always like the blessings that the man above gives you. But goddamn it, if you don't appreciate it enough, no. You got drafted number 1 overall, albeit by a very lowly franchise. We're not going to sit here and make it seem like the Pelicans is a savory franchise. But at the end of the day, you haven't made the best of that situation. If he comes to New York, right, and he's not playing well, and the media gets on him, what's going to happen?
He's going to curl up in a ball.
Exactly. He hasn't shown me the toughness. He hasn't shown me the mental fortitude. Him being in New Orleans, if he really wanted to be a Knick, he should have made the best opportunity of that every chance he got, and he has not done that. So why would I be on board for the Knicks to trade for him? Because now we're going to be putting together a package. We're going to be weakening our team even more to add a guy. Nah, it just don't make sense to me.
I get it. I get it.
I'm just not with it.
If we're talking about trade packages and like what could have been, do you regret now that we've seen what Cleveland wanted 2 years ago? Do you regret even trying to get? Do you regret us not going for Donovan Mitchell? I do want to get your take on that.
No, I was happy that the Knicks didn't allow themselves to get fleeced. I was 100% elated we didn't make that trade for Donovan Mitchell. I never believed in Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson as a great front court. And honestly, I always felt like Jalen Brunson was better. He has Donovan Mitchell's number. Outside of the last game we played against in Cleveland, It was a stinker. Jalen played terrible. Cat played terrible. But at the end of the day, I believe Jalen Brunson is miles better than Donovan Mitchell. So I was happy we didn't trade for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was good with that. I was 100% fine with that. And shout out to Recap. I went on Recaps Live, and I said Dante DiVincenzo was better than Donovan Mitchell. Because he went on a crazy run for the Knicks, man.
I wish. I really do wish Dante was better.
I'm good on that. I'm good.
That's my guy, bro. I'm telling you. So there is something that, again, while we're on these trade talks, I hate looking at Zion, but I kind of have to keep this up because it fits the topic a little bit. You heard that the Timberwolves are shopping Dante?
Yeah, I heard about that, man.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. That the Knicks can't even trade for him until next year. If I'm correct.
Yeah, we can't. You can't trade for a player that you just traded. And even if we could trade for him, we don't have the cap space to do so. We would have to send out so much money to bring him in. Like, literally, you would have to cut like 16, 18 million to bring in an $11 million contract. Why would you do that? Because that means you're gutting into your roster. Not going to do that. We got Mikal. We got Cat. Guys got to get in when they fit in and make the best of it. This is the team, y'all. We are right under the second apron. We're hard capped under the second apron. There is not much we can do. You feel me? This team is what it is. So I hope guys understand that, because if any moves get made, it'll be towards the back half of the roster. It will not affect 1 through 7. I promise you that, JJ. We don't have the space. We don't have the capital to do it.
Yeah, I get it. And like I said a few weeks ago, as a Nova fan, watching the chance that I was about to see Jalen, Dante, Mikal, and Josh all play together for the first time in college. I was elated. Then I saw the trade when Cat got dealt, and I'm like, oh my God, we just got Karl-Anthony Towns. And I saw Randall's in the package. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Finally, my nightmare's over. Then I see who else. I'm like, fuck, no. I was so mad when Dante got traded.
Yo,
but it's worth it.
I got to tell you something, Jay. Listen, I work for the MTA, man. I'm in the public. I came across somebody that I never would have thought I would have met. I met a lady that works for the Knicks.
By the way, about the MTA, can y'all lower the costs? I'm tired of paying $25 every time I'm trying to get to the city. It's annoying as hell.
I'm not a big dog, man. I work for them. I don't make decisions. I wish, man.
Well, damn train costs, man.
Yeah, the point that I wanted to make, I met a lady from the Knicks. Beautiful, beautiful woman, very nice. She's expecting a child. So, like, when I seen her, I went out my way to help her open the emergency gate, make sure she felt comfortable, right? So then I noticed she had on a bunch of Knicks gear. So I'm like, Miss, you a Knicks fan? So she pulled me close and she was like, I work for them. So I was like, okay, that's what's up. So I'm like, what's going on with the trade? And she pretty much told me, like, look, listen, the Knicks are going for a championship. They felt like trading for Karl-Anthony Towns was a move that puts them in championship contention. Now, to make a move like that, you're going to have to give up something you might not want to give up. That's why Dante was added in the trade. Before Dante DiVincenzo became a Knick, he was coveted by the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Knicks were trying to trade Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle for Karl-Anthony Towns. You can't fit a round peg into a square hole. So Mitch was never wanted by the Timberwolves. The minute the Knicks added Dante DiVincenzo to the trade package in that first round pick, that's when there was some traction. At the end of the day, I'm happy with that decision. Because shout out to this beautiful woman again. She did not have to talk to me. She did not have to tell me this. She said from the top of the organization all the way down to the 15th man on the roster, everybody understands that this year and going forward is championship time. They want to win a championship. I'm good with that move, man. It sucks that we had to lose Dante, but if you really look at what's going on with him over there in the Timberwolves, I'm going to say that last year was an anomaly. I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, he's gonna. If he was the remaining Nick, that we would get the same Dante DiVincenzo. You never know what happens in the NBA season. You know what I'm saying? All we could go on from what we see, and right now Dante isn't playing that great. He isn't terrible. Some say he's been playing better than Mikal. I'm not gonna go out there and say that. At the end of the day, I don't watch the Timberwolves to know that. But if I'm just looking at the raw numbers or whatever, yeah, you could kind of make that assumption a little bit. But I'm good on that. At the end of the day, we did what was needed. It's championship time, man. We got a championship roster, and we just got to figure some things out. We got some adversity we got to face, but ultimately, I'm fine with the Knicks doing anything that's going to get us closer to a championship. I've lived my whole life not seeing the Knicks in the finals. I want to see my team win the championship.
There was a point in time where I had only seen the Knicks win a whopping 2 playoff games in, I think, what was it, 15 years it was. I was obviously born, I was born in 06. I was basically brought into the Knicks fan base in 09, and I saw 2 playoff wins until 2023. One in 2012 against the Heat in Game 4, where Amari Stoudemire had the game of his life, and the one where it was Game 2 at the Garden against the Hawks during the pandemic, where Reggie Bullock made himself a 1-game Knick legend, which I think a lot of people forget about. Is I look back at that team and I'm like, how the fuck did that Knicks team make the playoffs? Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, Reggie Bullock, Nerlens Noel. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, we had a bunch of makeshift put together pieces, and you know, Julius Randle, he did what he did, man. He made it work, but you know, he shrunk when it mattered most in the playoffs. I really don't care to talk too much about Randle, man.
Yeah,
but, you know,
go riddance. Go riddance, bud. You are no longer Judy Annihilator. Yeah, go riddance, bud. Anyway, our last topic of the night, well, of the day, I always say of the night, this is like a generalization thing, is the upcoming matchup for this New York Knicks squad continuing their trip across the mountains, this time heading up to the Rocky Mountains in Denver, Colorado to take on the Denver Nuggets. What do we think about this one? It is tomorrow night at, I believe it's 9 p.m. This game is at, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey,
I'll fact.
Yo, this is a must-win. This is a must-win flat out. Like I said, West Coast trips are very important to me as a Knicks fan. I'm traumatized by West Coast trips. I feel like we have a great team. I don't give a fuck that we're struggling. I want the Knicks to go out and beat the former champs. I want Karl-Anthony Towns to go out and have a dominant game against an all-star MVP candidate in Nikola Jokic. I want to see the Knicks go out and do what they've been doing the past few years against the Denver Nuggets, and that's play extremely well. Set this thing right, man. That Utah loss, it is what it is. We move. But I didn't expect us to lose that game, man. I did not expect us to lose that game. And we did pull it in. We almost had them twice, but we never took the fucking lead. So, going forward for this Denver game and even the Dallas game, I need the Knicks to go out and win those games, man. We cannot leave this West Coast trip 1-3. No, we need to be 3-1, 2-2 minimum. And that's me being nice, honestly. Honestly, I really wanted the Knicks to finish this West Coast trip at least 3-1. You know what I'm saying? But right now, 2-2, I'll give them that as a floor. I'll give them that.
It's 1-1 if I'm not mistaken. We've only played 2 games in the West. It was Phoenix and Utah, because you said 2-2. But anyway, remember last year when we played Denver, and I think, what was it? Well, 137 to like 85. We beat that team. I'm pretty sure it was, I have to go back and look. That was one of the most impressive Knick performances I had seen in my years. And from what I remember from that game is I'm pretty sure somebody pretty significant was missing on the Knicks, and we still ended up flooding them by 50. I can't remember who it was last year that was out, but again, 122 to 84. We beat them full strength without Randall and we were at full strength. I'm trying to think. There was significant injury that we had. I can't put it on tip of my tongue, but we beat the defending champs in our house by 50, if I remember correctly. But looking at this team, GLY says pause, pull it in. All right, yeah. Sorry, man. It's a little bit early. But anyway, this is a critical game, in my opinion, for the Knicks. Because if you want to be, quote, like the lady said, championship contenders, you have to go out and win these games, and you have to win decisively. What I saw in Phoenix is what I need to see with Denver. Go out there and pulverize this team. Go out there and dominate them in the paint. Make Jokic sweat and cover Jamal Murray at all costs. Because God forbid if I see another player shoot 10 3-pointers and make 9, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm tired of watching the Knicks give up all these threes. Defense is lacking severely. But again, 16 games in the season. I'm not gonna start spreading the doomsday news because I'm not that type of fan. That's just not what I do. I'm normally an optimist. I keep my thoughts in check. I think that there is still a lot of ground to make up, especially with how good Cleveland and Boston is. By the way, I'm telling you right now, don't get intimidated by Cleveland's record. They're gonna fall off a cliff so hard they might fall like the 5th or the 6th seed, which ain't saying much. But yeah, 15-0 is a fluke. It's a matter of time before they fall off. Anyway, not to prey on someone's downfall. Shout out Donovan Mitchell, biggest Met fan on the planet. But again, back to the Nuggets. I look at their roster and I see a lot of depth. And again, depth has been one thing that the Knicks have been lacking for the majority of the season. I'm also looking at our injury report. Precious Achiuwa, Miles McBride, Kevin McCullough. So Mitch and Precious remain out for this game. McBride is a game-time decision. Aaron Gordon is officially out for this game for the Nuggets. I'm pretty sure he is on IR, if I'm not mistaken. Again, forgive me. I don't follow the majority of the league. I only follow the Knicks, if I'm being completely honest. But I'm not overly concerned. I'm expecting the Knicks to go out there and play efficiently, hit their shots, get into the post, and just dominate. I'm going 120-111 Knicks.
I'm going to say I would like to see a more defensive game from the Knicks. So if they're going to exert a lot of energy on defense, I can't expect them to be in the high-scoring numbers. So I'm going to say we score a little over 100, and we try to keep Denver below 100. You feel me? So let's keep Denver anywhere between 85 and 95 points. You feel me, for the night? And the Knicks, score about 100, 105. That's really what I'm looking at. I want to see the Knicks come out with a defensive edge. I want to see them pretty much take guys like Jamal Murray out the game. You feel me? Jokic is going to get his, but he's going to get his. I just want to see guys put together a better defensive effort. I feel like if we start hanging our hat on the defense and doing the little things and, just locking in on that end, we'll be fine because we have offensive juggernauts and Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns and even OG Anunoby. So I think as long as we get right on the defensive end, we should be fine. You know what I'm saying? And again, with this being a Tom Thibodeau-led team, when you have the personnel of guys that are touted as defenders, these guys should be performing. So I literally want to see the Knicks go out and have a defensive edge against the champs or the former champs. You know what I'm saying? It's time, man. It's time for guys to really hang their hat on the defense because offensively, we're still figuring things out. You know what I'm saying? OG has been the only constant. So I just would like to see the Knicks do their best on the defensive end because that can win games too, man. And we need not forget that.
Well said. Well said. Obviously, the Knicks got the Dallas Mavericks in a couple of days. So if you want to get into that game, we can. We have plenty of time. Do you want to discuss this Dallas game? I mean, we just talked about Denver. If you want, we could bring up Dallas.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. We got to get some get back, y'all. The last time the Knicks went to Dallas, we got our asses handed to us. You know what I'm saying? I know it was a controversial call at the late end of the game, or whatever the case may be. But you feel me? If Luka is playing or if Luka is not playing, I still want the Knicks to go out and get a win. You feel me? We have to start building that continuity. And winning does that. A loss, to me, it just tells me there's more work to be done. So when you start building up wins consecutively, that lets me know the margin of error is slimmer. You know what I'm saying? So Denver is a good test. Dallas as well. I want to see the Knicks go out and get wins, man. That's really all it comes down to. Yeah, and it don't even matter how they get it. Fuck it. Even if they don't play great defensively, I need W's on the board, man. That's just where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I say just win the next 5 of 7 games, and I'll be and I don't get complacent either because I want the Knicks to go on a crazy run. Zion to the Knicks. I'm sure his injuries are he doesn't want to play for Pelicans. I mean, we already discussed that. I don't need my boy Jay getting into another rant. We already discussed this earlier in the show. You can rewind, go back and watch that part. That's my mind. Yeah, that's my mindset behind it. But again, there's no need to really discuss it. Again, I said win 5 of your next 7 games. I'm gonna actually look at the road ahead for the Knicks. I did not come prepared, and I apologize for that in advance. So after Dallas, you got the Hornets, Pelicans, Magic, Hornets, Pistons. Yeah, I see at least 5 wins in the next 7 games if you play up to your potential, that is. And I don't want to see we go down by 15 points, we win by 5. I want to see an efficient 4 quarters of basketball, consistent scoring, consistent defense, and I want to see some double-digit wins in this remark. We can't obviously do what we did against the Suns every game, but if you could just give me half of that, that'd be phenomenal. I'm talking about 44 points in the first quarter. I'm talking 70 plus in the second quarter. Just efficiency. And no matter what happens, Thibodeau will still be pissed off. No matter what happens.
Yo, shout out to Tom Thibodeau, man. Yo, he's a hard ass, man. Like, he is so hard on the rookies. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I've already gave this take, but, like, he's a perfectionist, you know. He gives guys the best opportunity to win in his mind. You know what I'm saying? I still feel like there's a lot of improvement he can make as a coach. But, you know, he works hard on the X's and O's. Whether it works out or not, he does pour his all into that, man. So I just want him to give guys like Tyler Kolek, Ariel Hukporty, and even Pacome Daddier to a lesser extent just a little more leash room. Just a little bit more Tibbs. You know what I'm saying? Last night, Pacome Daddier played well on the defensive end. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see him much, but he definitely came out with the right energy on the defensive end. I've been watching this kid since the summer league, and the one constant that I took from him is that he's a good ball denier. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to position his body, and he's gonna give effort on the defensive end. And don't let him get hot from 3. The kid is streaky, but if he gets hot and he can be that 3-and-D guy, I think he has a role possibly in the future. Not right now. He's not ready. But the only way you get ready is if you open up that rotation a little bit, especially while we still getting back healthy. You know what I'm saying? We got Shamit, we got Deuce out. Our guard wing rotation is very, very thin right now, in my opinion. I like what I'm seeing from Campaign, but even he's coming back from an injury. You know what I'm saying? He played his heart out last night against Utah. I'm glad that I mentioned his name, too. Shout out to Campaign, man. I seen that guy, like, literally breathing, like, huffing and puffing, man, and he's playing as hard as he can. Yo, I don't know if the starters were, like, aware of that, but Jalen, Cat, Mikal, yo, I need y'all to have that same type of intensity. There's no way a bench guy is fucking he's playing his heart out against the fucking Utah Jazz. I need to see that from the stars. Mikal, specifically you, brother. You know what I'm saying? This game, I have to call you out for this game. I did not like what I saw, but we move and we hope for the best going forward. I feel like we have a light schedule going forward, but you got to respect your opponent, man. I sat here in spaces and I was like, yo, the Knicks are going to beat the Jazz. I expect them to come out, dominate early and all of that. And the Jazz played exactly the way I wanted the Knicks to play. And I'm fucking sitting there like, what the fuck am I watching, man? So I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, we're going to beat this team, we're going to beat that team. Listen, go out and do what you're supposed to do and get the fucking win. I don't care if it's against the OKC Thunder, the Charlotte Hornets, or anything in between. Put some W's on the fucking board, man. Because after 30 games, listen, man, trade deadline and all of that, I don't want to give pertinence to those types of conversations, man. But if we continue to struggle, you have to. You know what I'm saying? So let's just hope for the best. Let's hope that we right the ship. Yo, Deuce, we need you, brother. Get healthy. Precious is ramping up. Mitch is coming down the block. You feel me? Like, Shamit not too far away. Hopefully, let's get healthy. Let's get right. Let's get this continuity going. And let's go on this crazy December, January run, man. That's my closing take.
Very well said. I feel like you could not have closed that any better. So you know me well enough. I have my 3 benchmarks of evaluation: the 30-game mark, the 55-game mark, and obviously the 82-game mark. Those are my benchmarks for the season. So before we go, I'm just going to read a few comments. Collins was punishing hard. Jazz just have too many mismatches. Yeah, again, it was a rough game, but we pack it up and move on, just like we are about to pack it up on this show. Thank you for watching Season 2's premiere of the Orange and Blue Crew. Jay, if you got anything to say, I'm about to wrap this thing up.
Hey, man, yo, come join me Wednesday morning, 10 a.m., Anytime Knicks show. You already know we're going to have a blast. Hopefully, we have some good things to talk about. As the Knicks win, you feel me? The fan base will be much happier. And I get to be a happy host. I don't have to listen to guys poo-poo the team and all of that. So, yo, man, the Knicks make the world go round, baby. Let's go and get these fucking W's. I'll see you guys Wednesday morning, 10 a.m., man. Salute to everybody.
Salute to everybody. Now I don't got school that day, so you'll probably see me in that space, 10 a.m., if I wake up in time. But thank you guys for watching another episode of the Orange and Blue Crew for Anytime Knicks. I'm JJ Seg, signing off. Have a good day, everybody, and let's